I'm not gonna film this in like super high quality or nothing. It's 3:20 in the morning. I'm on my way to work. I just finished watching the complete set of videos that Teenage Engineering has produced and released so far on the TX-6 micro mixer. And in the long video, I left a lengthy comment along with a handful of other lengthy comments that were in there already, which were all pretty pointed at the same direction. And I'm kind of doing this at this moment. I'll probably catch the hashtag wave or whatever, and maybe this video will get a couple, 1 or 2 views or something like that. But in terms of the TX-6 itself, and I'm not gonna like read back the comment I wrote on the video. If you want to read it, go read it and comment below or reply to it or whatever. Reply to this video is fine. I have an OP1, I have an OPZ, I have the 3 metal pocket operators, which I think are the most powerful pocket operators because they have versatility to change their sounds and the ability to communicate with each other or other devices through the modem interface. Sorry for the frog in my throat. Like I said, just on my way to work. It's 3-something in the morning, had something to eat. But the TX-6 checks a bunch of boxes for me that when I saw it initially and didn't realize what size it was until I clicked on the picture in the email and saw how small it was, I was like, holy cow, this hits everything I could probably need. I've been in the market for a digital interface because I have a Mackie Pro FX version 2, which has a USB interface for the double channels. Yes, I'm very red. I got a sunburn today. I was riding the motorcycles a lot. Has a stereo interface for input and output of the mixer to any device, really. Yeah, anything with USB or can connect to USB. And Mackie makes now the Onyx 24 or 12, or I think it's in a 16 channel variation. I'm looking for 24 channels, and that gives you 24 channels of digital input straight into your DAW of choice on your PC, Mac, phone, whatever, iPad. The other competitor to that, which has been out for a while, is the Tascam Model 12 or 24, which gives you the same abilities. Both of these mixers are full size and are devoid of one of the features that was in the TX-6, which is the synthesizer and sequencer, which is built in. I think this is an amazing feature. It's a great idea. It's something that, you know, a device like that, you wouldn't expect that feature from. Having a synthesizer built in, having the sequencer built in, having a drum machine built in. I think that's fantastic. It's great. I'm a horrible percussionist, and I will take any assistance I can get in the drum arena. Me programming drums on the OPZ doesn't go really well. I'm not very good at it. So, and on the OP1, you know, I'm pretty good at Guitar Hero maybe, or Rock Band on PlayStation, but not at the drums. So, the one thing that those 2 full-size mixers have that they didn't include in the TX-6, now, I put this in the comment, this is almost a deal breaker for me. It's a minimalist function that you get in both of those mixers, and it's the ability to record on board without the assistance of a computer. Now, this isn't a huge feature, so to say, and it probably has a very niche use in the industry for people, like, especially if you're doing live recording and you just want to be able to get a live, raw cut of whatever it is you're throwing through the mixer. Don't have to worry about hitting a play button, just record and let it go and catch what you catch, you know, like filming wildlife. So this TX-6 has all this computational power and the ability to be turned on its side and become a DJ machine of sorts, which wasn't demonstrated in any videos yet, but I'm sure will come soon as they have more time to make more videos about it. I am interested about the giant knob looking thing at the base of the unit that I guess is an adapter from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch headphone jack or output jack. If that's all that is, it's interesting. Take it out, let's see it, without it. Well, that's fine and dandy. I mean, if that's its size and perspective, those little jacks aren't that big. That half the size of half a cigarette. 1/4 inch jack to 1/8 inch, and they're using 6mm metrics in the video to describe it. But so the price tag was the number one thing commented about in all the comments that I read on the hour-long video, which was the intro live video that Teenage Engineering released. I didn't look at the comments on the other videos. They were all just the short segments that were taken from that live release and made into individual videos, from what I can figure. And price is a big factor when looking at something that's that small and that versatile. I believe it's an Apex. I'm trying to remember what the name of the interface is that gives you 24 channels of digital interface. It's a small box. It's got a round knob in the middle and menu interface, and it breaks out the 24 different inputs to a PC or Mac without a mixer, because the mixer is virtual. It's built into your computer with the DAW or the software that comes. I think it's Apex. I don't have a catalog on me. I'm not going to look it up at the moment. So, but that device is what, $600 or $700, I believe, as a professional pro audio interface, versus a lot of other interfaces. Like I have the iRig Duo 2, I think is what it's called. It gives you it gives you two channels, 1 and 2, with XLR or line, 1/4 inch input, and you can use them mix or match, or and then they don't have pan pots. It just has gain pots on the actual device. It gives you a headphone out, line out, master go back, and it has USB interface, so you have USB and MIDI also built in. And I use that device actually primarily as a MIDI interface only from archaic keyboards that don't have USB but only have DIN MIDI out. That device teleports or transports MIDI directly to my Mac through USB, which is perfect. Does everything I need, because it gives me a very simple keyboard interface to most of the VSTs that I use, or soft synths. But the TX-6 doesn't have MIDI translation ability from older machines. It has MIDI built in for its sequencer and probably for triggers and stuff of that nature. It probably has the ability, which may not have been talked about. They put Pocket Operator Sync in all of their other devices, the OP1 and the OPZ. So I'm figuring that PO Sync is going to be in this thing as well, because what better device to plug into a few of those 6 inputs is Pocket Operators. If you're going to just do the whole Teenage Engineering ensemble like a lot of us TE fans do, we like to keep everything, Sony fans keep it all Sony, keep it all of the same make a lot of times. But this device itself will, it's great. You can plug anything into it that you can convert over to headphone jack, which isn't hard to do, from any type of output, whether it's a double left and right 1/4 inch output to single, headphone jack, 1/8 inch. I have a bunch of those cables and I use them all the time, because a lot of the stuff that I use is like the Teenage Engineering equipment that has a headphone out only jack or line out, and then has to go to my mixer into 2 line in inputs. And I usually do the 1/8 inch to left and right RCA, and then I throw adapters on the end for RCA to 1/4 inch, plug it into the mixer into the line inputs left and right, pan pots, or into those hybrid ports, which are left and right into 1 channel, which is 2, but it has a not a pan pots, but it has a balance, left and right balance pot. So that's how it is on the Mackie, and it is for a lot of smaller, more consumer-based mixers, not like a big 32 channel or what's Magoogan. So, but in any case, that I think that if you want to justify a $1,199 or $1,200 price tag plus tax, I'm guessing shipping's free, plus a $56 soft bag case. I think that's how much the case was. Personally, I think I would go with is it Case Logic, who makes all the cases for the Teenage Engineering gear and the SP404 and things like that. Yeah, I think I would go with theirs on this case, on this one, to have something a bit more rugged and maybe has some places to hold cables and cleaning cloth, stuff of that nature. I actually use a small bag for my OPZ, which somehow I found at a rummage sale from AARP, and it's the type of bag you just put little documents in, and it holds the OPZ perfectly fine, along with the cables, headphones, USB, interfaces, things of that nature. So, well, I've rambled on for 10 minutes about something that, I don't know, when I saw the email and I had not heard about this project, I'm guessing Teenage Engineering has kept it under wraps, or I've just not been to their website as often as I probably should be. I'm glad to see that they're innovating and creating new devices, coming up with new ideas. This is a good one, I think, but it is going to stay very niche for that price tag. Of course, the YouTubers, the influencers will get their hands on one to try out, and I can't wait to see their videos on it so they can really explore the full dynamics of it in wildlife type environment, out there with somebody who didn't create it, but without the ability to record on board. And what I was going to get to in this, because I'm being a bit scatterbrained with this, is that could be something they could add on in a future firmware update. If it's as simple as just adding on another menu interface, much like when they showed the portion of how to start the sequencer by going to the tempo screen and hitting play, and there you have transport controls, so to say. There could be a menu screen with shift push knob to get to the onboard recorder. The only problem is, one, the storage space that it has already been defined because it's already in production, and two, there was no SD card slot for a micro SD card, which you could throw 32 gigabytes in and practically never use it all, even if you're doing 12 channels of 96 kilohertz recording for over an hour. Mind you, yeah, that's a lot of data there at that point, but using compression and stuff of that nature, that 32 gigs would probably be ample, I would think. You could do 128 or 256 without even blinking nowadays on a micro SD card. So that's something I think could have been included. Now, if you're not going to get it via a memory card slot because there isn't one already on the device, it could work with a USB-C hard drive or solid state drive or something like that you connect to it, and then it gives the ability to record on board with something sticking out of it. Not optimal, but it's better than nothing if that's what it takes. So I just see that with all the potential that they have with this, a micro USB slot, some onboard storage, would have definitely been the way to go to give people the ability to record what they're creating, because the OP1 has a 4-track, 6.5 minute 4-track tape recorder. The OPZ has the ability to bounce its own tracks, but does not have anything on board that allows it to do a live take. It all has to be plugged into something. Pocket operators obviously don't record anything, but they have their sequencers built in. So Teenage Engineering has, until the speaker, OP4, haven't studied all the model numbers, but the speaker that they made has a sampler built in and has the ability to record what's being sent to it, and then mixed and rewound and affected and stuff of that nature, which is really cool. And maybe this device could go hand in hand with that speaker, and it could act as the storage bank for recordings, except that the transport controls are not in the mixer itself. So this is where Tascam did it right. They put an SD card slot. It's a full-size memory card slot, and so did Mackie. And in the menus gives you a simple transport control. It isn't like a high-end editor where you can open up your files and chop and slice and dice and all, and fine-tune, cut and paste and things like that. I mean, I started digital audio back in the days of minidisc and DAT. And in minidisc, you had the ability to, by second, almost frame to frame, do cuts and pastes and move things around if you wanted to of your live recordings, and take this section and move it over to the beginning, because all it was doing was it left the recording the same, so to say, but it moved the bookmarks around so that you would transition from one part of the disk to another without it actually having to move any of the data on the disk. It just made bookmarks essentially, and it moved through them seamlessly. So the TX-6, I think, devoid of an onboard recorder, is lacking one of the most necessary features for something that's portable, completely digital, and intuitive and innovative as this thing is. It really needed that. All right, 15 minutes. I'm going to break it here. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope maybe one day they decide to make a price point difference on this. We'll take a rain check on it for the time being and see what comes. Have a good one.